Welcome. This is David Boles, Human Meme. Today's topic, too long didn't listen. No agent needed. If you're in the show business, and it is a business because this entertainment thing isn't called show, it is called show business for a purpose. Because the point of all this is to make money, not necessarily art. So knowing that mainstream entertainment, the live stage, the dead theater, the empty space, radio, TV, the movies, cinema, the internet, the all of it, one needs to understand the business side of that business. Because if you're in entertainment, that half, the other half, the business half, is just as important for you to manage as your talent part. Do you need an agent to work and prosper? The answer is no. But you do need representation. Yes, show business can be confusing, and that's why so many young people want to find managers and agents to help them manage and navigate the boring side of their talent, the business side. And they then think they want all of that, all of the representation for no money up front with a promise to pay later because they have no money. And that is, in its elements, a major mistake. And it's a mistake because it is your duty as an artist, performer, to know your rights, to accept your talent, and to know your value in the marketplace. And to also understand every sentence in any contract you may be asked to sign. Now, I get asked a lot about getting an agent, and if you need one, and I've never really been big on agents. Yes, you need people in your corner that get paid to be in your corner. But that doesn't always have to mean that that person needs to be an agent who takes skims 10% off the top of every single thing you ever do in perpetuity. And one mistake talented people make is thinking an agent finds you work. That's pretty much not true. Even when it comes to the big talents who have a lot of money and a lot of experience, agents pretty much field calls and help put together deals, but they really aren't out there on the phone trying to sell you or get you work, especially if you're you and not a big superstar. Agents today want you to bring them work. You find the job, they'll prove it, get you paid. They want you to have a contract in hand. And then they'll read the contract and decide if you're worth representing or not. And even though it sounds cruel and cold, that process is fine because this is show business, not my agent is my friend business. And so if this contract you bring to an agent is lucrative enough to slice 10% off the top in perpetuity, you may get an agent to kindly take you on as a client. But it is rare for new talents to hit the streets of Los Angeles or New York City and land an agent on promise alone. Because agents need to pay their rent and their light bills too, so agents don't want to take on a charity case. Agents will sign you for a cut of a deal, not on the promise of tomorrow. Unless, of course, you come from a famous family or you are recommended by another powerful someone who's already on their representation roster, then you're in. Because they want to keep their other moneymakers happy. And just remember, none of this is personal. It's just not show for agents. Agents are in the industry, the entertainment industry, to make a buck. And if you can help them get there, help them make their nut and cut their ends, well, then they just might take your call and keep your name in mind. That's really all you can ask or expect. Now look, I've been doing this for 40 years professionally, writing, acting, producing, editing, everything, and it took me a long, long time to figure out everything I've told you so far. Having an agent was not really necessary or equal to having an entertainment career. But we're programmed to think that way. Anyway, need an agent. And so I started my writing career in New York City, reading scripts for free for literary agent Helen Merrill. And basically, you read a script and it's yes or no. Sometimes if they're reading a script as a favor for someone, they need a few lines from you that they can include in a thank you note. But pretty much 99.999% of what you read is a no. And if it's a little bit good, nothing really happens to it anyway. So anyway, Helen Merrill was an old, cranky German woman. She had a pipeline to the writing talent at the Yale School of Drama, thanks to Howard Stein, in the 1970s or so, and she was the first agent of record for Christopher Durang, Albert Inarritu, and Wendy Wasserstein. Helen was pretty mean. Some say blunt, but she was really way beyond blunt if you knew her well. And she pretty much had contempt for everyone around her, and she never found me $1's worth of work. And when I later found out she was paying one of my female classmates $10 per script read, which was about $100 to $200 a week, well, I was doing about triple that work for her and getting paid nothing for doing much more work. Well, I was forced to realize my own value, and I moved on. Up and out from Helen Merrill to someone else who appreciated me for more than my slave labor. And a few months later, I had a contract in hand to write a musical for Broadway. We had a first-class producer's option, and the clock was ticking, and I needed to sign with an agent. Or so I thought. To help establish me in New York City and that first-class Broadway contract, well, that's what I used to get signed by my first real agent and agency. The both grand and delightful Michael Benahum at APA, Agency for the Performing Arts. Michael Benahum was a great man. He was kind, funny, thoughtful, always made time for you, which is very rare for an agent. I called, he picked up the phone. And Michael Benahum even loaned me some money, even though agents are forbidden from doing that. But many agents do that anyway, loan money to their best clients, because if you're young and promising and new and starting off in the theater especially, you're always dead broke. And Michael Benahum knew that, and he cared more about me than he did about the deal. And I paid him back everything I borrowed once I had been paid by the producers. And unfortunately for APA, the Agency for the Performing Arts, Michael Benahum was more artist than agent. And show business is about money. And if you aren't earning, you're taking. And eventually APA had enough and let Michael go, and once again I was agentless and without representation. And it was then that I had an epiphany. Agents really don't know everything, and they often rely on an attorney or a manager to help them negotiate deals. And after Michael Benahum left APA, Seth Gelblum was the attorney recommended to me to replace Michael. And Seth agreed to take me on for 5% of what I made, not the usual agent's 10%, and I did not have to pay Seth an hourly fee. And here's more of the business side. If you're a big talent, you need to know a little bit of math. So most big-name writers and artists pay an agent around 10%. A lawyer 5%, and a manager 15%. So there, right off the top, you're losing a third, 30% of what you hope to earn, and it goes right to your representation team. Well, if you're like me, a little like me, a self-starter, and you can make your own phone calls, and you can bang down your own doors, you don't really need an agent or a manager to skim their vigorish, off the top. But you do need a little help. You do at least need an attorney on your side, protecting your interests. You need to have someone other than you who can check your contract just in case you missed something. And yes, you can try to get a percentage deal with an attorney like I had with Seth Gelblum. Or you can be even smarter than I was and just pay the hourly fee up front and be done with it. Oh, and a side note. Helen Merrill, Michael Benahum, and Seth Gelblum are all dead now. Helen Merrill died of lung cancer in 1997. She was 79 years old and a lifelong chain smoker. She was never not smoking. Michael Benahum died of cancer in 1991. He was 58 years old. And Seth Gelblum died in 2016 after a long illness at 62 years old. And yes, life is unfair, and the wicked are long-lived, while the good never outlast the cruelty around them. And bless them all. But Michael Benahum and Seth Gelblum died too early for the world, and too soon for their souls. We miss them. So, yes, one and done. Pay your attorney up front, then you're out free and clear. And you don't, by default, pay out any more money for the life of your project. You're happy, your attorney is happy and paid. Now, the average hourly rate of a New York City attorney is currently, as of the recording of this Human Meme podcast, around $800 an hour. And some New York City attorneys charge $2,000 an hour. So please beware and be wary. But let's do a little more math. Let's say you're offered $10,000 for a script. Your per-hour attorney looks at it for a couple of hours. So you pay out $1,600. But you're clean and clear. If you have an agent, you lose 10% right off the top. That's $1,000 off the top just to start. Your 5% attorney takes $500 to start off the top. And your manager takes 15%. That's $1,500 off the top to start. So just getting you paid that initial $10,000 costs you $3,000 in management fees. Just to start. So is it smarter to pay $3,000 on a $10,000 payday? Or $1,600 one time clean and clear? And if that script, where you were paid $10,000, goes on to make you $1 million in the future, well, your percentage team takes $300,000 of that $1 million, while the hourly attorney was still only paid the initial $1,600 on signing. Show business, not show. Be smart. Know your math. Read your contracts. Ask questions. Ask for more than you'll get. Be your own proactive manager and agent, but never be your own attorney. Know your value. Pay for expertise. Pay for what you don't know. Pay for what you need to confirm. And don't give away slices of your annuity just because you want to feel liked and part of a team. Remember, you are paying your team. And I'll close today's Human Meme podcast with this thought. My first agent from way back when, 30 years ago, Helen Merrill, told me something back then that stuck with me ever since. When talking about her clients, she said to me, "Everybody leaves." Everybody leaves, she said. And what I didn't understand then that I understand now is this. Of course everybody leaves. Because once you find success and you figure out as an artist what the game is all about, the game being played around you but without you, who in their right mind would ever want to pay a vigorous percentage to an agent who only represents you in name and not in spirit? And don't be fooled. If you fail to continue to earn for your people, you will be released and put out. But the agent and everyone around the agent still takes their old piece of you for the rest of their life, the rest of your life, and your afterlife. Now, sure, some clients, successful, really super talented clients, everybody leaves, for a better agent. But that move is only really made when the prestige of the agent is higher than the one you're leaving, and the agent's standard 10% cut has been drastically lowered in favor of you, the talent. Often to 2% or so, instead of 10%. And that's okay, show business, not show. Because for the agent, 2% of $10 million is better than no percent of $10 million. Show business. Know your value in the marketplace and represent yourself. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.